Next up is a long-term friend of mine, Dr. Stephen Franson at the Remarkable Practice. Their coaching group helps thousands of docs around the world build remarkable businesses and remarkable lives. He's going to highlight some of their new AI tools built into their coaching program that gives you on-demand access to their expert coaching 24/7, 365 in a really cool and unique way. Here is Dr. Stephen Franson. All right, everybody, I am fortunate to be sitting here today with a very good friend of mine and somebody that's about to open your eyes wide open. And that is Dr. Stephen Franson, head coach, CEO of the Remarkable Practice. In my opinion, by far, one of, if not the best coaching groups in chiropractic. And you're going to see why as we talk about what they are doing, how they are helping people, and the advancements they're using technologically within their coaching group. Stephen, thanks so much for coming on.
Dr. Jeff, what a pleasure and always a privilege, man.
It is my pleasure. So there's going to be some docs I know listening and watching to the AI Summit this week that might be a little bit unfamiliar with the Remarkable Practice. So let's pick it up right there. Now, maybe a little bit of history of yourself, the Remarkable Practice, and what are some of the problems you solve for chiropractors around the world?
That sounds familiar. All right, Jeff, thank you. All right, I'll do the Reader's Digest version. So yes, I'm a chiropractor. Yes, I'm married to my favorite chiropractor, Camilla. So Camilla and I started the original Remarkable Practice in Boston, 30 years ago. So we ran that practice at a super high level, high volume practice, Gunstead practice, hardcore vitalistic, systems driven, team driven, amazing multiple seven-figure practice that was all about patient education, delivering better clinical outcomes, better health outcomes and experiences. We were all systems driven. So I'm the systems guy. That's my moniker in chiropractic, which is a nice way of saying I'm the OCD DC. Everything has to be systematized. So attraction, conversion, retention, team building, collections, everything fully systematized. That drove a lot of our scalability and our success. But what was key to our success was the durability that we created with our associate doctor program. We had about 40 associate doctors, 39 associate doctors over a 17-year period. And it's not that I'm a terrible boss and everybody quit and I had to replace them. It was a 2-year apprenticeship. So I had awesome mentors as did my apprenticeship, my internship, and associateship. So always had great mentors. So I wanted to pay it forward. And I love to coach people. So that's where I fell in love with coaching chiropractors. And after about 25 years in practice, started to coach chiropractors outside of the practice, fell in love with that. And that just took off and started growing like crazy. That was really the birth of the Remarkable Practice, but all the systems came from training up on all those awesome chiropractors over the 17-year period of running all those docs through our system. So we've been blessed again. We exited our practice, sold it, and started, just an incredible coaching business that now has thousands of chiropractors all the way around the world. We've got 16 coaches that all specialize in a different what we call season of the practice. And we introduced this concept, this construct to organize conversations like this called the 4 seasons of the chiropractic career. So there's launch, build, scale, and exit. Launch is the first year in business when you start your own business, the launch season. And then build is when you're an established business, but you're the owner operator. So you own the practice, but you are the one doctor there that's head down, bum up, taking care of all the patients. Scale is when you take that job that you love and turn it into the business you've always wanted by adding multiple practitioners, so either through partnerships or more likely associate doctors. And then finally, exit, right? So death, taxes, and exiting, Jeff. It's all about creating a graceful and profitable exit, which is a very rare thing in our space, but we're fixing that. So we coach and teach across all 4 seasons. We organize all of our clients, all of our content, our programs, and all of our coaches across those 4 seasons. And we have live events here in the US. We have Australia, New Zealand, now London, just launched in the UK. So, man, we're having a lot of fun helping a lot of people help more people.
I love it. I've been to some of the events, so I'll tip my cap to you and your team for doing a really, really awesome job. And everybody listening and watching, I'll encourage to connect with you and your team at theremarkablepractice.com. Now, today we're going to talk AI specific. So for many people listening and watching, maybe AI, coaching, how do these two things, fit? And I know you brought this up to me probably over a year ago now with some things that you were doing with AI. I thought they were really cool at the time. Now we're going to take a look behind the curtain and see how that's come to fruition. So I'll just ask you the question. How is AI helping you help more chiropractors?
Oh, it's amazing because, like I said, we're global, and although we have partners in Australia, we have boots on the ground team over there in the other hemisphere. It's still, hey, people want to have access to great coaching, information, but more so transformation, and they want it 24/7, 365, right? So we leverage AI. We've actually created our 17th coach, right? It is our Remarkable Sherpa, which as weird as it is to say this, it's my AI clone, right? It's even more strange to speak to myself and talk to myself and ask myself questions to test it, and have it answer me back in my own voice. It's the Remarkable Sherpa. It's an AI coach that has just been extraordinary. We've uploaded all of the Remarkable Practice content, really all of my material from the last 15 years of coaching. So we've got 7 years, almost 7 years of our podcast in there. So the Remarkable CEO podcast, countless hours of coaching, countless hours of live event footage, 4 different academies across all 4 seasons of launch, build, scale, and exit. And my book that I wrote, The Remarkable Practice, everything is loaded up into this thing. So Jeff, it is impressive, the answers that it gives. And what I'll say is it's the contextually and the content and the accuracy is exactly what I would say, right? So it's probably even more succinct and more exact, and it comes with references so you can go digging deeper. And I'm super proud to show it off because my team just did an amazing job of building this thing and putting this thing to play. And what's been really encouraging was how it's been received by our client base. So I'm taking you inside behind the curtain right now. All of our coaching clients and their teams all get access to this. And what you can see is this, we have 1,650 users up here, it's just been explosive. It just keeps growing. And to see all of the activity and all the conversations that are happening constantly, we can actually peek behind the curtain. And I don't know, I don't think anybody would mind if we went into this. So don't be weird. Don't chase down these people. But, what you're looking at here is these are all different conversations that have been happening. Like you can see an hour ago, 2 hours ago, 6 hours ago, like this is like real time, what our clients are asking and talking about. And you can see that the answers are impressive, right? This is beyond just like a short answer or some ChatGPT random answer. This is literally what Dr. Stephen Franson would say in the Remarkable Practice system. Here's what we teach, and this is what we do. What's cool, Jeff, as I go through this is a couple of things. Number one, I can see exactly what my clients are asking and what they're looking for, right? So there's a huge value in that, right? So you can imagine how this would translate into a practice, right? So you can see what people are asking, so you know exactly how to address, in your marketing, in your copywriting, right? So it's like subject matter for articles you write or social media posting or, live events or workshops or what have you. So you get this insight into what your people are asking. And that's one thing, right? So, but then what was unexpected was to see how many team members jump in there. So obviously my clients are using it, but then you see their teams jumping in there. So now my clients appreciate the fact that their office manager, their CAs, their associate doctors are actually asking the Sherpa. They're not bugging the owner, right? So not only are people not bugging me as a coach, they're not bugging the owner either, right? So I didn't necessarily appreciate that there'd be so much engagement. I'd say there's actually more engagement by the CAs and the office managers and the associates than there are by the owners. Now, on top of that, my internal team at the Remarkable Practice is using it, which is very cool, right? So you'll see like here, Therese, she is one of our admins. This is a new admin that we've added in the last 3 months, 4 months. So she's in there asking all of these questions and not bugging anybody else on our team and getting my answer, right? So it's like, talk about getting closer and closer concentric rings of influence on your team. So there's a new admin hire that's come into our business, right? So, and then I can also see like my team, my coaches are in here asking questions. So if a client asks them a question that they're like, man, what would Franson say to this? How would he respond? Here's my answer right here, right? So, and look, and you can see this references in here as well, Jeff. Like all you got to do is you see these footnotes here. This basically takes you to our content that it's in the vault. So it's like, here's your answer and here's your reference. So take this information and run with it. So it's just continuing to reinforce the Remarkable Practice systems, keeping it the continuity and the purity of our information in our system. And it's just been so encouraging and exciting to see that, that there's multiple applications here that maybe a couple I just didn't even see. But you talk about becoming scalable. This is our 17th coach, right? So we now have the Remarkable Launch Sherpa, the Build Sherpa, the Scale Sherpa, the Exit Sherpa, and you can ask very specific questions and you're going to get the Remarkable Practice answer.
Yeah, this is super powerful. And I want to highlight a couple things that I think are really, really important. One is that it's utilizing AI in a very unique way and in a super cool way that's very pragmatically applicable to the doc. What do I mean by that? This means that between the immersion events, between the CEO events, between even the coaching calls that you're having with your coach, you have instant access. And while, hey, having vaults of stuff is great, having instant answers is even better. And having both is the ultimate, which I know is what you've built. So I love being able to see where docs can 24/7, 365 be able to get really specific answers, because often when questions come up, there is a timeliness factor to that.
That's right.
So being able to have that's important. And I'll ask a question, a real simple one, but just super pragmatically for the docs listening and watching, they're like, man, coaching has been on my radar. I know it's what I need to get to the next level. I love a group like the Remarkable Practice taking this to the future, ultimately, with how they're implementing things in a directional way. How do you see people using this? Is it literally like you log on and you can text stuff in? For the docs who maybe haven't used something like this, how does it actually work?
It is so intuitive, Jeff. It's inside of our members area, right? So it's username and password protected. They get access to it. And literally, there's just click the button for the Sherpa, I pop up and it's a picture of me, and you can literally either talk to me, like you can either just hit the microphone button and just talk to me and I talk back to you in my voice, which is really kind of creepy, but people like it. They're just conversational, right? So, or you can just type in, and regardless, the response is going to come back to you in text that you can then download and save, or you can just be texting right back and forth, much like a ChatGPT functions, right? So it's amazing. What I love is what I'm hearing is people like, oh my gosh, it's so nice to not feel like I'm like either bugging my coach or I have to wait for a response, because we've all been there where on Sunday night, your office manager says, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is I've fallen in love and I'm moving. The bad news is I'm done. And you're like, oh my gosh, or a person quits, or your CA is like, hey, I really want to meet with you tomorrow. I want to talk about my bonus system, or like my associate doctor wants to, get a comp plan in place. And it's like, it's Sunday night, Jeff. And you're like, how do I get this information? Literally, you can just jump on and you have me in your back pocket 24/7, 365. We're here. It's Thanksgiving coming up this week, right? So I know this is airing in a week, but Thanksgiving week, it's like you're at home and all of a sudden, like most chiropractors, like you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Isn't it nice? You're kind of like, this is a hang around the house weekend. This is a time when a lot of people are like, man, I got a lot of things I would love to do to button up the year strong and do my, my assessment of the year and my vision casting for next year. It's like being able to have the conversation with Coach, Dr. Stephen Franson through the Remarkable AI Sherpa, just being able to just have that conversation back and forth, and having that access is what I've heard. The feedback is just amazing, because it's those off hours and the in between questions. Because frankly, that's how practice and that's how business hits us, right? It's in between those calls.
That is 100% right. So I got one more question for you. As somebody gets started with Remarkable Practice, they go all in. They're going to the immersions. They're speaking with their coach. They're utilizing the Sherpa consistently. What are some of those keystone outcomes you look for when a doc really sinks their teeth in with Remarkable Practice?
So that's a great question, Jeff. So, we address all 5 domains of the practice and the business, right? So we're very careful to tease those 2 terms apart, right? So there is 2 sides to the chiropractic coin, right? So there's the practice and then there's the business, right? So all of us remember that day when we figured out that it's like, oh, wait a minute. Not only do I need to be a chiropractor and know how to be a doctor, I also have to know how to run a practice, right? And those are 2 different things, right? So regardless of whether you're an owner or an associate, you're like, oh, there's the being the doctor thing, the being a chiropractor. That's one set of knowledge and skill sets and identity, et cetera, right? So I also have to know how to run a practice, right? So that is the operations, the systems, attraction, conversion, retention, team building, collections, right? So that was kind of a holy shit moment for a lot of people. Like, oh my gosh, those are 2, I got to learn all this stuff. Well, for those of us who have started businesses, we know this is actually a third identity and a third set of knowledge and skill sets, et cetera. And that's called growing a business. So now you need to know how to be a chiropractor, the doctoring. You have to know how to run a practice, right? So that's the operations. And you need to know how to grow a business, right? So in the Remarkable Practice, we've been very careful to coach and teach both sides of that chiropractic coin and tease that narrative apart as much as they are conjoined twins, right? So, but they are two different conversations. So we coach and teach both the practice, the systems, the operations, and the business, which is the economic engine that drives the business, right? So ultimately, we're teaching both sides of that. So we want to see across all 5 domains for practice and business, we want to see those numbers moving, right? So we all want to make a bigger impact and a bigger income, right? So, well, that means attraction. You need to attract more qualified leads, right? So conversion, you need to be converting people to the care plans that you lay out for them. You've got to compel people to invest their limited resources in your services to solve their problems and reach their goals. And then you've got to be able to deliver, right? That's creating value and delivering value. That's patient education and actually giving people great care so they have better health outcomes and a better health experience. And then team building, which is the hardest and most important part of this, right? Which is learning how to surround yourself with a world-class team of A players. And then finally, there's the money. Jeff, no money, no mission, right? So this is a real black eye for most chiropractors. They just don't know how to run a productive and profitable business, right? So we want to see all those boats rise, right? So it is not just about one thing, it's all things, and we cover the gamut.
Very, very well said. Everybody listening and watching, Remarkable Practice and Dr. Stephen have also given a special offer for you as an attendee of the Chiro AI Summit. We're going to be sure to link that down below. Dr. Stephen, I really appreciate you taking the time and highlighting how coaching and AI are becoming maybe not one, but they're amplifying each other's impact together and giving docs even more opportunities to grow. Thank you
Jeff,
so much.
if I could wrap with just this statement is, our purpose is to restore health and our mission is to help more people help more people. So everything that we do is a reflection of that. So what we want to do is we want to democratize this information, right? So we recognize that our coaching program can be considered a premium program for a lot of people, right? So I understand there's an investment that people at one point maybe aspire to, or whether if they're not ready to yet make the investment in coaching, I understand that. So what we wanted to do is create an opportunity for people to build up some momentum, right? So to build up some revenue so that they can invest in the coaching that they need in the future. So what we've created is we've created this easy entry point with the Remarkable Sherpa. So if people want to learn more about that, they can jump on a call with us to figure out, hey man, how do I get access to that Sherpa so that I can have this AI coach help me get that momentum, build up the revenues and the resources, help me get a good, strong start so that I can one day afford to get to the coaching that I'll need to be able to achieve my goals and my potential. So I'd love to be able to talk about that. We've made this very approachable. There's an easy way to start with us. We would love to have the opportunity to get you some wins. Like I said, help you start growing the business and eventually earn your trust so we can work with you in the future.
Very well said. We'll be sure to drop that link. Docs, please connect with Dr. Stephen at the Remarkable Practice and take your practice to the next level. Now it's time to do so. Have a fantastic summit. If you want the best deals on products and services, along with some of the best speakers in chiropractic, you're going to want to register for our next summit coming up soon. Click on down below and register today.